In a land far away, in the darkness of a dense forest, a drama is unfolding. A tribal chief has been murdered by his teenage bride. This is a place where thousands of years of tradition dictate that justice is found at the end of an arrow. A place where when a man dies, a woman must cut off her own finger. It is within this society that we follow the odyssey of a tribe who fights for retribution for their murdered chief and confronts the modern world and the changes that threaten to overwhelm their ancient traditions. West Papua is the western half of the island of New Guinea. The highlands of West Papua are home to a mosaic of tribes, and because of the impenetrable terrain, they live in isolation from everyone except their closest neighbors. These neighbors have been at war with each other for generations. In these mountains lived Dauma, a fierce highland chief, a warrior who killed many people throughout his life. He was known to be vain and greedy, and although he had 2 wives, he bought another, a young girl with a shell. She was a teenager, in love with another man, and she rebelled against tradition. One night, she lured the chief into the forest, stabbed him through the heart, and ran away with her lover. They disappeared, and no one has seen or heard from them since. Jambai Pia found his brother's body in the forest and carried it back to his village to be buried.
Kipel na ave mahe, tatu yuta ave mahe, atana ho, vidugupa bage, boya wogi yoho. Iya ikwa edo boya lagi tu umana kiyo mala mem ga yo. Be, kabe kespa ho na mafidau. Mafidau mem go kidak kaga bayi badawe mana. Bayu badawe mana ho. Edo iya mala prem ga yo. Mem go na ase mehame gukwe.
This is the village where the chief lived. The villagers believe the dead chief's spirit moves in the mists across the hills. But the tranquil setting belies the tension of the village. Without their chief, they are vulnerable to raids from other clans, especially during a season when conditions for daily survival are harsh. Augustinus is the oldest man in the village. He's wearing a gourd known as a corteca. It is thought that it is worn to please the women by imitating a permanent erection. He oversees the building of new houses in the village and is responsible for the planting and harvesting of crops in the gardens. It is the dry season. The soil on these steep slopes is stony and barren. The laborious work of planting potato seedlings with a digging stick has to be done now before the rain comes. There are no tools in the village apart from 2 steel axes. All other work has to be done with wood or bamboo. At this time of year when potatoes are scarce, the village prepares to cook a red pandanus fruit, which they find nearby in the forest. These banana leaves are softened on the fire and then split so that they can be wrapped around hot stones to form an oven. It has been the dry season for some months. Potatoes are scarce, and even the pandanus is becoming hard to find. Once the fruit has been softened in the fire, water is added and the pulp is squeezed to separate the seeds, which are too hard to eat. Marianis is the dead chief's second son and was his father's favorite. But Ishmael is the oldest and will succeed his father. After thousands of years of being cut off from modern civilization, priests and the government have recently introduced modern goods such as T-shirts, cooking pots, spoons, and matches to the villages. The old men, like Augustinus, are trying to keep the old skills alive so that the villagers do not become dependent on outside supplies. Villagers of the Wolani tribe look for their dead chief's spirit in the misty hills. They wonder how to deal with the havoc caused by his murder. Jambai Pia is mourning for his brother. He is wearing a woman's string bag over his head. West Papuan men, when they are sick or grieving, often wear string bags like this to protect themselves from evil spirits. Augustinus, the oldest man in the village, and his neighbor have met to discuss raids which have been made on their land. They are worried that the wars that have raged on and off for years will be rekindled by the death of their chief. Food is scarce at this time of year. Damiana remembers her old home by the big river, where there were always plenty of frogs and tadpoles to eat. Meanwhile, the dry season leaves the villagers struggling for daily survival. In order to lessen the pangs of hunger, almost all the villagers smoke tobacco. Tobacco has grown wild, like a weed, in Papua since early times and is cultivated in the village. It grows all the year round, the pigs don't eat it, and it only needs weeding occasionally. Solomon, who doesn't have much in the way of land for a garden, gathers rare pandanus leaves and makes them into cigarette papers, which he can barter. After flattening the pandanus leaf by pulling it through a cleft stick, he rolls it up so that he can bake it on the fire. He dries the leaves on a stick, and then they are ready to be folded over the tobacco to form a cigarette. Babeo, an old war widow, is drawing tobacco on her roof. What she doesn't smoke, she will exchange for other goods or give away. Her husband was killed many years ago in the wars, and she fends for herself. Her neighbor, Solomon, has come round to see if he can borrow some salt. Solomon, who visits her from time to time, is also a victim of the wars. He was badly wounded in the back, and while he was disabled, his wife went back to her family. The spinach that Babeo collected earlier is baking in the hot stone oven. The taro and maize on the fire are the last harvest of the season. They're taken out of the fire, dusted off, and eaten as they are. Salt is very scarce in the village. It is collected from a mud spring several days' walk away and then dried into a bitter-tasting brick. Although traders have brought packet salt into the area, the villagers prefer their own traditional salt. At this lean time of year, frogs and tadpoles are a delicacy. There is building work on Babeo's new house. By the age of 12, boys have gained enough skills to build a house by themselves. All the materials have to be found in the forest. The techniques for house building haven't changed for generations. The hole in the floor will be filled with earth for the fireplace. The smoke is left to simply pour out of gaps in the roof. The boys have to tie the knots very tightly, or the house will shake and fall apart. The village is haunted by the need to avenge the dead chief's murder. The girl who killed him has disappeared, and a real threat of war now hangs over the valley. For the villagers, this means that evil spirits are present. This is Damiana, who recently married one of the elders of the village. To frighten off evil spirits, her father gave her a bone to wear in her nose and a charm necklace to protect her. She is shredding the fiber from a thin strip of wood and spinning a continuous length of string on her thigh. She will then knit it into a long net bag. When they leave the village, the women wear the bags to protect their backs, which is where they fear attack by evil spirits. As well as evil spirits, men like Damiana's husband also fear attack by other tribes. Damiana's husband was already married when they first met. It's quite common for a man to marry 2 or more wives, and they usually live together peacefully. But when he started seeing Damiana, his first wife became jealous and attacked him on the knee with an axe. The village is so remote that there is no government control of law and order. So disputes like this often end in violence or death. When a warrior like Dauma is killed, his hut is torn down and his family is forced to start over. Bendiwo, the dead chief's mother, lives with her. She is quite blind and needs constant attention. Damiana, whose house is nearby, is also mourning a close relative. She wears a charm necklace to protect her from evil spirits. Women in New Guinea often cut off one of their own fingers when a close relative dies. Women in the highlands of West Papua cut off their fingers because they believe it appeases the spirit that caused their relative's death. Some women have only 1 or 2 fingers left on each hand. The dead chief's widow, Dugudikamba, is still grieving for her husband. In spite of everything, every day she wakes and continues her endless search for food. The pigs are getting into the gardens through holes in the fence and are eating the potatoes. There is no one there to help her repair it. Her aunt and mother-in-law have come to the field to help her carry firewood back to the hut. About half the potatoes she's managed to harvest will have to be fed to the pigs, which are kept inside at night so they don't lose body weight keeping warm. Pigs are the main source of fat and protein, but are very rarely killed. Her children are complaining of hunger. The villagers will go to war unless the clan of the girl who killed their chief pay them compensation for his life. They are meeting to decide what demands they will make on the girl's family. After a death of this kind, restitution is usually paid in women, pigs, or shells. However, the government now forbids the use of shells as currency and insists that all payments be made with money. But money has no value for the people here. There are no shops to spend it in. Most of the people still prefer their beautiful ancient shells to a folded banknote. A single shell can feed a clan for 6 months, or buy a wife for a man. The only way a situation as serious as this can be resolved is at a meeting with the girl's clan.
he may and he posaki pito and he any for about guy and he only heki pito and he makes us here. Tano me Ugasika, Buratosica. About enemy keep enemy get near Atasika.
The elders decide that Jambai Pia, the dead chief's brother, should go to the girls' village and ask for a tribal assembly to try to avert war. But just then, an unwelcome visitor appears. He is a distant relative of the dead chief who has contacts with the local rebel militia and is potentially dangerous. He demands 2 valuable shells just for himself. The valuable shells, Abenepo and Bubu, are ancestral heirlooms that belong to the girl's family.
Edo bai bo mugo. Dora pia mugo. Memo hora ye ya wi kasi ya ko da uji me ko si ya mugo ji ka ta kasi.
The visitor is persuaded to take an equal share and drops his claim.
I am going to ho. I mean a hole. So I go to we. Tell you about all whom in a hinny for Jai, but I have been saying Chibali. Nearby.
Jambai Pia has made the day-long trek to the girls' village at Bugalaga. He sits alone, unarmed, and waits for the girl's family to come to discuss his claim for compensation. The girl's family agree to come to a full tribal assembly in 5 days' time to try to avert the outbreak of war. It's the day before the tribal assembly, and Ishmael, the dead chief's eldest son, is cooking a small pig to give his family extra strength, as tribal assemblies can often break down into violent confrontation. Exploding stones on the fire send sharp fragments onto bare skin. The pig is a rare treat, and provides much needed protein. The tender ribs are given to the young children. The day of the tribal assembly has arrived, and the dead chief Dauma's clan have come to confront the family of the girl who killed him. They have come to demand shells as payment for Dauma's life. The dance is called a waita. It is a display of power to intimidate their adversaries. Dauma's clan take up a threatening position on the hillside. They want vengeance for Dauma's death with shells, according to their ancient ways. They are armed and fully prepared to go to war to press their claim for the shells. At the bottom of the hill, the girl's family wait to hear what the claims against them will be. Julius, in a red and white turban, is speaking for Dauma's clan. To try to prevent fighting breaking out, each side chooses a speaker to argue its case. The outcome will depend on his skill and eloquence. Nathaniel, sitting wearing a baseball cap, is the speaker for the girl's family. He is also the local representative of the government for this remote area. The speaker for the girl's clan decides to make an offer. He tries to persuade them to accept money in the modern way. But the dead chief's clan do not want to accept money for which they have little use. The speaker from the dead chief's clan warns the family of the danger. The elders of the dead chief's family are becoming impatient. One of them stands up and scolds their speaker because he has not achieved their demands.
Yamina Taudra, Yanio, behaving as far. Tau. A boy to wait if you are bra.
The meeting is at an impasse. Dauma's family insists on shells. The girl's family want to pay with money. The speaker consults with the dead chief's family. He is very worried about the threat of war. Julius, the speaker, is despondent. The talking is getting nowhere. There is no progress. Another elder in Dauma's clan has risen to his feet. No agreement has been reached, and the dead chief's clan return home. There is now a very real threat of war. The death of the chief still haunts the valley, and the threat of war is now grave. Back at the forest, near the dead chief's village, Augustinus is felling trees to clear new fields. He is worried that if war breaks out, his village will be short of food, as most of the old fields are producing poor crops. The first step is to fell the trees so that they form a barricade around the new garden. One tactic in the war is to attack people while they are making new gardens, in the hope that they will run out of food. After the logs are levered into place, they are secured to the uprights using split vines as rope. When the villagers make a new fence, they often put a shelter in it for ghosts to rest in, so that they won't come and disturb the village at night. They build a stone fireplace, and sometimes leave an ember burning so that the ghost can light his tobacco. This completes the first stage of the new fence. The fence will form a boundary for the clan's land and a defense against attack by their enemies. Solomon, who has already been wounded in the wars, and Augustinus are making extra arrows in case conflict breaks out. There are two kinds of arrow tips, a sharp bamboo point and a forked trident which causes terrible wounds because of its barbs. The warriors have had a period of relative peace leading up to the chief's death, but now they must rearm and prepare for more fighting. The bamboo they are using comes from Jabuta, 3 days' walk in the forest. It is hard as iron and is so sharp it can be used to cut raw meat. Augustinus has to scrape out the pith inside the bamboo shaft to allow the tip to be fastened and bound to it. Jambai Pia, the dead chief's brother, is holding his arrows, some of which he has had all his life. He can tell a story about each one of them and thinks of them as memories. He had 3 brothers who all died violently, and now he is the only one left alive in his family.
Let the one come go he. Be a toya. You go and get here. I may have to try one nigga now as a maid immediately. Get out of the hotel, we'll cook up making.
The dead chief's clan decide to go to Bugalaga again, fully armed, to press their claim for compensation for Dauma's murder. They perform another war dance to frighten their enemies, the clan of the girl who killed their chief. The dance is a way of showing their armed strength and pleasing the spirits of war. The head of the girl's family, a government official representing new values set by the government, still insists on making the payments with money, which the dead chief's family have refused to accept. They still insist on the precious cowrie shells which they know the girl's family possess. As a government official, the leader of the girl's family has orders to forbid the use of shells in his district. He faces a dilemma. The dead chief's family is prepared to fight for what they see as their ancient rights. Using cooking as an example, he tries to encourage modern ways. This is not what Dauma's clan wants to hear. They are determined to protect their ancient culture and preserve the value of their ancestral shells. They are fully prepared to use their deadly ironwood bows and arrows to defend their way of life against the modern world. But Ishmael, the dead chief's eldest son, is very worried that war will break out. He has been trying to persuade his brother, Marianus, and the elders to accept the money. Marianus, the chief's younger son, wants all shells. But his brother Ishmael wants peace and is prepared to accept the money that has been offered. Then, Marianus drops a bombshell. He publicly accuses his brother of planning to steal all the money. While Ishmael is angry at having been publicly betrayed by his own brother, the elders are wondering whether they should follow Ishmael's advice and accept the money after all. Then Marianus proposes a compromise. Half shells, half money. The chief of the girl's family finally agrees to accept Marianus's proposal and offers them half shells and half money as payment for their chief's death. The elders decide to accept this payment and prepare to dance once more to celebrate their old ways and to pacify the ghosts of the past. Jambai Pia is still grieving, but the honor of both clans has been preserved. The girl and her lover are still hiding, perhaps unaware that her passionate act of defiance nearly caused a war.